It's dark. I can't see. You take about 3 steps, and next thing you know, you are face to face with this John Carpenter's The Thing abomination that half resembles Skaith and half resembles this very miniaturized forest god. It's not a pretty sight. This thing stares you down with cold, undead eyes.
I run.
Skaith, you're face to face with Ivory.
Well, then I know the thing can't be over there, so I about face. And I want to try and just start attacking statues.
Alright, you believe you are the envisionment of the forest god, but you don't really feel any different.
That's unfortunate.
You know that this would be able to make you look like such the creature, but you don't believe it'll give you such the powers. So what did you want to do?
Well, since it's like a deer thing, it's got antlers, I want to try and charge down the statues. Just plow them down, straight row.
Well, you then see this... You then hear Ivory open the door, and you turn around and see Ivory at the door. She comes face to face with you, freaks out, and just bolts it out of the room. Weird. You turn around and charge a few of the statues, running about 5 of them into the wall. The rapier disappears. You believe you're probably looking back like yourself. And you have no clue what spooked Ivory.
In fear for my friend, I want to try and poke back in the room, ready to fight.
You poke back in the room. It's still dark. There's little movement in there. You happen to make out what you believe is Skaith trying to break a few more statues.
What are you doing?
It's here somewhere!
He breaks another statue.
Can we hear or see anything?
You can hear Skaith breaking statues. You see Skaith breaking statues. It's still very dark. The room has not settled enough to actually...
Torch-making stuff?
What now?
Do I still have torch-making stuff?
You've got enough for one more torch.
I'm gonna go ahead and open the curtains and see if that helps any.
You open... Well, you search for the curtains. They have been pulled aside. The window is there. It is dark. It is still dark outside.
I will go ahead and make my torch.
Make your torch. The torch lights up and illuminates the room for about 2 seconds, and you get a good expansive view of the room as the few statues that are left. And both of you take this in about 2 seconds. You get a view of the entire room, about 10 statues that are left, the crumbling mess of the rest of the statues, and you do see the Illithid pretty much in the middle of the room. Then the torch light gets dimmed down to a small sphere that only illuminates about maybe 2 feet in front of Ivory. So Skaith, you are back in the dark. You believe that this Illithid has dimmed your torchlight somehow.
Going to throw the torch towards where I seen the creature. I'm going to throw it towards where I thought I saw the creature.
Alright. You throw it in the direction, but the creature seems to have moved its placement. Both of you roll perception.
12.
Alright. Both of you catch it as this thing is going to book it for the door. You can pretty much have a good distinct feeling this thing's going to try to book it for the door.
Try and cut him off.
I throw my dagger at him again. Obsidian.
You only have an idea where he's going to be. You don't
It's
know.
worth a shot.
Roll it.
I got 16.
Alright, all you have left is your chain. You kind of whip it in the area, maybe hoping to clothesline it if you pin it into the wall. You are in the dark, so you still misjudge your length. The dagger does not stick in the wall, but the chain goes slack as this mass bolts past you, and it happens to make it out the door. Going past you, evading you once more. It happens to run back into the open atrium. Because you're running circles now.
Can we burn down the house?
To which you both smell smoke. As you kind of look out into the hallway and realize that the star room is also on fire. That the fire from the master bedroom has caught on to a few more rooms. This place is catching on fire.
So that fire was actually real.
Oh yes, your fire was real. You did set a thing on fire. To which you hope that the drow has gotten everyone out faster than these flames are encroaching.
That'd be nice.
Are you guys still sitting in the dark?
No, I give up. I give up. He's not worth it. I just try and book it out of the house before it burns to the ground.
I'm right behind him.
Do you want to help the drow get everything out? Make sure everyone's
Yes,
okay?
yes, definitely.
You
Yes.
bolt back into the sunroom, back to the sitting room, to the lounge, to find that the drow has only got about 3 people left. Would cart them over his shoulder and rappel down out of the sunroom. I'm almost done. What do you guys feel? Hey, are you okay? He looks at Skate. You are writhing.
This elephant is driving me crazy, literally. I can't kill him. He's killed everything that I've ever had endearment for twice.
Well, we need to get these people out of here. This place is coming down as a rafter board comes down out of the sunroom as the flames start approaching the entire top half of the second floor.
I weakly grab one of the people, the lightest one I can find, considering how injured I am.
There's
And
about,
I try and grab the other.
you happen to grab the last remaining few people. The drow repels down out of the sunroom. Do you two want to try to repel out of the sunroom?
Yes.
Alright, who's first?
Me.
Alright, do you have this person over your shoulder?
Yes, I do.
Okay, roll it.
19.
You make it down safely. Ivory.
Roll it.
16.
You make it down safely. Everyone has been corralled around like the front gates away from the building, which is now set ablaze. The
We can blame the kobolds.
local fire militia has arrived on scene, and
I informed them how it started. The kobolds set the master bedroom on fire.
to which they have a few sentry sorcerers of sorts kind of floating up around the mid area of the second floor and start trying to douse these flames.
I tell them where the source is, they can help.
You now realize that this building will not burn to the ground, but there's still an illithid trapped inside somehow. So you essentially didn't solve the problem. So you guys try to ponder over for a few minutes what to do. Though everyone is safe, that is a plus.
Does anyone have anything I can use to get the shrapnel out of my shoulder? It hurts.
One of the
Suck it up.
one of the fire militias attends to you. Bandages up your shoulder. Everyone starts coming to as the local Stillwater people try to, console these hostage guests and try to, well, what's the last thing you remember? Oh, we were at a party and everything, the lights went off, and no one's really having any memory of the entire situation. Like, no one can really recall how this illithid got in, or any recall of an illithid. water sentries essentially put out the last of the flames as they notice that the house will be salvageable, but of course suffer some fire damage. We're all gathered out by the main gate.
Do we see or hear the creature?
The house is quiet. It is still
At least
nighttime. It's still like
is
2
he
in the
at least
morning.
wounded?
You did slash him in the back and hit him with some shrapnel. You don't quite think that might have been enough to bloody him, but you're so unsure.
Well, I would like to inform our drow friend as to the state of the elephant.
Kind of gives everything a once over. Says, well, sounds like you about got him on the ropes, he says. To which you actually hear from the lounge window up on the second floor tapping on the window. You all look up and there is the illithid staring at you from inside the window, almost taunting you guys.
I make a rude gesture.
It makes a rude gesture back.
I am
And
going to wind up having a rivalry with this thing, aren't I?
from which you could hear inside, or at least, Skaith, you think you can hear, the words, "Bet you can't hit me."
I charge back into the building, or start trying to.
The drow kind of halts you in your places and says, "You look, don't rush into this. Think smart about this. He's trapped in there. We don't need to be necessarily trapped in there with it. Think about it.
We need to get it out.
Did he say anything to you?"
No.
Surely, the way you reacted, didn't he just say something to you? I could sense it.
He said, bet you can't hit me.
Ha! The drow bends down, picks up a rock, and puts it in your hand. Well, can you?
I throw the rock at the
Window?
elephant. Yeah.
The rock, with your rage-infueled rock hand, it crashes right through the window. The elephant jumps back. The entire second floor's windows blow out in a backdraft of fire. The screaming warbled is heard as the sentry wizards get back to their jobs. The second floor is ablaze.
I think we just took care of our friend.
The drow kind of pats you on the back and says, "Did you hit him?"
I just stare at him and go, I can't tell. It's on fire.
A few minutes of this horrible, warbled screaming, you're just waiting for it to stop, hoping this thing will burn alive and just turn into calamari. When the main doors blast open and this huge plume of fire, Ivory, you already are planning out this horrible, oh god, it's gonna be an effigy thing in your mind. As you see this flaming illithid come out screaming in whatever language it has, patting itself down. It just kind of puts out the majority of its fire and kind of just pauses as it realizes there's a crap ton of people right here. And 3 people who probably hate me.
Considering it's still trying to pat itself out, I try and separate its head from its shoulders.
Roll it.
Please be something good. Please be something good. I want this thing dead. 19. How about that?
Alright, you give a good cleave into this thing's neck. This thing has almost been decapitated. It gives a good swat away from you. And next thing you know, Skaith, this thing is hovering over top of you and is choking the hell out of you. The ongoing crowd watches as Skaith valiantly runs up to cut this thing's head off and just kind of doesn't even get close to him, just kind of falls flat on his back and starts flailing.
Ah!
Ivory?
I am going to go ahead and try and assist him by taking a good whop at this thing with my pick ball.
Roll it.
14.
Alright, the exact same deal happens. You go up against it, and this thing does the same deal. You give it a good whap on the face, and this thing is strangling you. Saprik just looks at his poor little adventurers flailing on the ground, with this half-charred illithid standing on the doorsteps. And he says, well, you know, yeah, I probably should. He kind of hauls both of you up by the backs of your collars, to which you instantly snap out of it. And he says, let me ask you guys a serious question.
I want it, dude.
I know you do. Listen. All these good people here. Would it be easy enough to say yes to get rid of this creature, but would it be a little bit better on your reputations if I took care of it instead of you having that blood on your hands? These people don't know what this creature is. It could be innocent, for all they know, and you just killed this half-charred creature.
Fine. Can we kill it later?
I'll save the next one for you.
I don't want a next one. You can have them all from here on out. I am done with flayers.
Skaith says it's not something to get used to, he says. As you kind of step back and try to kind of take your focus a little bit towards the people, instead of just staring on as this drow pulls out his great sword, a shimmering long broadsword that glows with a dark red magic, same as his gemstone on his chest. This illithid is glaring this drow down. Drow just, like badass style, just walks up, sword drawn. The illithid points at him. Drow doesn't budge. Illithid points and starts to panic like his power's not working. The drow lifts up his sword, tip of it right towards the illithid. You hear the drow say something. You can't make out what he said. It doesn't sound like it was in drow, but whatever he said you couldn't make out. When a blur and flash of light, you realize by the flutter of his cloak that he has like essentially spun 360 degrees. The sword drips freshly of illithid blood as this illithid, like a cliche, slices in two and slides like his top half is going to fall off. Before the top half can separate, the entire illithid explodes in a ball of viscera. You watch on in amazement as you kind of deter the hostages from looking as this drow executes this illithid. He comes back to join you guys, kind of brushing off this goo. Says, does that help?
You just wanted to kill something.
I can't agree with that. I just wanted to get you guys over and done with this. I got a card game to get to.
I appreciate it, and I apologize.
Thank you.
He also pulls out this little scrap of paper from his pockets. He says, oh yeah, I worked on this while I was out there. And he hands, Skaith, he hands you this little parchment. Looks like he's been writing notes on with charcoal.
I'll take a look at it.
It is a characteristic drawing of you and Ivory charging in there in the mansion very valiantly.
You are a very excellent artist.
I have one. You should see mine. It's quite humorous.
You pull out your little memento he drew for you from underneath your helmet and show Steve.
He's a little. I turned the big bone dragon into a tiny kitten.
Oh, you still have that? He says.
Yes, I like it.
Eh. So, if we're all done here, can we get back to the council? Like, I'm ready to go.
Definitely.
Sounds good to me.
You leave the cleanup and the rest of the attendees with the local militia. You make it back with the drow to the council, to which Lyle and Vivian graciously join you. Vivian says, "Oh, I see everyone's in one piece."
Barely.
And
I just turned my head in shame.
and you happen to see Lyle greet you guys, and Lyle says, how was your little excursion here, Mr. Skaith?" Silent
I have
treatment.
nothing to say to you.
I just glare at
Well,
him.
I must say, I suppose maybe this was a little bit much for you guys, as it seems that our champion here has kind of taken care of things for you, as the drow kind of still brushes himself clean of viscera, and you two are clean as can be, except for some obvious wounds, but he's the only one covered in viscera. The drow says, "No. I just cleaned up for him. He took care of everything." You explain what had happened to the two.
Making sure that all the damage that was dealt to the actual mansion was blamed on the kobolds.
To which the drow says, let's see here. Yep, that would be pillaging. Check the pockets. To which, once again, the drow asks Ivory to empty your pockets, and Vivian asks you, Skaith, to please empty your pockets.
I put the sack of gold and the spoon on
Each of you have like 3 huge sacks of gold.
The kobolds had this on their bodies.
The drow just kind of stares at you, Skaith, and he says, "Look, don't lie. Just, dude, I take treasure all the time. Don't pin it on anybody."
I didn't say a word. It was him.
"Oh, great. Blame on everybody else. You two are quite the pair," he says. You really balance each other out. "Do this. Don't do this. Steal that. Don't steal that. I see why you work together."
Yeah.
As Vivian, it pretty much tells you it could be overlooked if you give it back to the community to help rebuild the mansion. But we'll give you one of those sacks of gold for your troubles and keeping you out of your way from your main quest. To which you get a sack of gold.
However much gold they need to help rebuild the mansion is fine with me.
They do let you keep one of these smaller sacks, but you do get a sack of gold. And to which Lyle comes up to Skaith and he goes, "Well, I think you'll be very pleased with our findings here." And he holds up like a large stack of books towards you, about 5 or 6 books. It just looks like paperwork galore.
I just raise my hand to my head and just go, "Great," as if I didn't have enough of a headache with the flare.
Well,
Paperwork.
Okay. Well then, let me simplify this for you. We have a bit using our scouts and our rangers, and the dragon creature had gone a good league into the forest. Another good day's hike. Are you writing this down?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He seems to be they seem to be very sincere. Ivory, you notice that Skaith is now he's getting angrier by the second. He is getting redder in the face as Lyle's just chit-chattering away, like Skaith is having none of it.
Escape. Calm down. Step away. I'll take the notes.
I at least hand the roulette gun back to you.
Vivian takes notice too, and she kind of says, "I'll take care of this." As she kind of ushers Lyle away. Well, okay. Lyle kind of goes back over to his desk. He's more than a handful, she says to you, Skaith. But we found that the creature is essentially just taking refuge, so far as we can tell. A goodly another day's travel into the woods. It seems to not be moving. Like it has just been... I don't want to use the word nesting, if that's not correct, but it hasn't been doing anything in particular. The wizard that you speak of, unfortunately, he's disappeared all since last night. We really can't... We seem no way to track him, but we would assume it's with the creature. And we have delved a little bit farther. I wouldn't suppose you guys, as you say you have witnessed this creature's birth, would know what this creature is. No?
No.
Okay. Well, regardless, she says...
Difficulties.
She informs you that the only thing they could find on this Mazis Dark Thunder is the name you gave for this Electromancer. Oh my! I think we're about to lose connection. Well, we'll just save that cliffhanger for next time.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Don't worry, guys. We're just gonna save this, anticipating for next time. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Alright, we're getting a lot of delay, but very good session, guys, and we will continue this next time.